Welcome everybody to a new My Hero Academia video. And guys, today I wanted to bring to you a little bit of a guide for mock trial. This has been highly requested, so here it is. So first of all, let's do a quick rundown of what the game mode is about before we actually get into the guide itself. So for those of you that haven't played the mode yet, you play normal mode first, right? And you choose, you pick either Deku or Momo, right, to play. And then there are three difficulties that you can play in, which are normal, not normal, easy, normal, or hard. You cannot, funnily enough, you cannot play normal or hard if you don't have Momo. Not even with Deku. You can't play this mode with Deku on normal or hard if you don't have Momo, which is fucking stupid if you ask me, but whatever. So anytime that you start a new run, you get a procedurally generated map like this one, right? And pretty much if you've ever played Slay the Spire, it's pretty much the same concept, right? You just fight through these different points and you fight bosses. There are just regular mobs, right, like these ones, and also there are bosses like this one. You can see the differences that one say a warm-up and one say elite. You also have this emergency incidents, which are basically just a buff station pretty much. As you fight, you collect buffs like this one, the ones I have down here, right? As you fight, you collect these buffs, and then you just have to get to the final stage and beat that boss, and that's pretty much it. In a very simplified manner, right? So when you first open a new run, you get a buff. I got this one, increases normal attack damage by 125%, which is very good. Then as you fight every single stage, every time that you finish, you get a random buff. Not a random buff, but you can choose one buff out of 3. And yeah, so basically you need to make a build, right, that works so that you can take that build into endless mode. You can see right there, this is a build that I finished, right? And so now I can go into endless mode and use that build with those buffs, right? A few other things to keep in mind. Obviously, if you do elite, you're gonna have better buffs. Also, you get these P bottles that you see up there. I have a 130, so you get those and you can go into this shop and Aizawa will sell you more buffs, pretty much. You can also sell your more useless buffs, like this one. Honestly, I don't really like it, to just try to focus on a build. So a few tips that I want to give you before we get started on what is an efficient way of farming this. I would say try to pick buffs that synergize with each other, right? Because there are buffs, for example, that will give you more attack or more damage when you're above 70% health, and there are also buffs that will give you more stats when you're below 50% health. So obviously, if you pick a buff that buffs you when you are above 70% and you pick one that buffs you when you're below 50%, you are just harming yourself and you're not doing yourself any favors. So let's now jump into what is an efficient way to farm this mode. Thank you so much. Big shout out before we continue to Kurt and his big whale Discord server. Thank you guys so much for letting me use this information. This is all coming from Kurt himself. He left quite a hefty explanation, a lot of tips to efficiently farm this mode, at least for the first half, right? I guess what you could call the early game. So another thing that I didn't mention is that there are different objectives. There are daily objectives, right? And then there are just general objectives that you can do, and they will give you these blue tickets. These blue tickets will let you in turn buy these buffs right here, these skills they call them, right? So you need to buy these skills. These skills basically are buffs that will last for like the entire mini game, right? They don't depend on particular runs. They don't depend on whether normal mode or endless mode, even though there are some buffs that only buff normal mode, like the buff to the shop. That's just because endless mode doesn't have a shop. So basically the idea is for you to get as many tickets as possible so that you can buy these buffs and become more powerful, so that you can finish endless mode at some point. Endless mode has 25 waves. The way that endless mode works is basically you have 1 minute, you start with 1 minute of time, right? And it's a countdown, and you fight different waves of villains, right? Through different floors, you fight waves of villains, and every time that you defeat a wave, they give you another 30 seconds, right? And the idea is for you to build up enough time to get to floor 25, which is the highest one, and defeat it. As you farm endless mode, right? At the higher you get, the higher the floor that you get, the more tickets that you get as a reward. Right, so the idea is for you to find a very efficient build in normal mode that you can then take into endless mode in order to be able to farm at least your 8,000 tickets every day, so that you can buy more skills, so that you can become more powerful, so that you can move forward in endless mode, right? That would be the general idea. So again, huge shout out to Kurtz. Thank you so much for letting me use your tips. So one thing that I will tell you guys is don't fight elites at first. When you're first starting the game, right? When you're starting the mini game, the game mode, don't fight elites. Elites are very, very difficult fights, and especially if you are leaving the game on auto, elites are hard. So don't fight them at first. Try to just go through normal mode a few times, build up your tickets by doing objectives, right, like going through normal mode, and then once you have a good enough build up of these skills, then you can start going for elites. Elites will basically give you these yellow buffs, and these yellow buffs are obviously the best ones, right, because they actually work as a talent tree sort of thingy, right, where they improve your characters, either Deku or Momo's, specific abilities instead of just giving you overall stats, right? So I would say at least build enough tickets to buy skills here until you reach normal skill level 5. Yeah, level 5, right? Just the reason why, right, is because if you lose a fight in normal mode, say that you lose right here, right, you just lose the entire run. You lose your build, you lose your run, you lose your time. So I would say run normal mode on easy difficulty, and don't fight elites at least for the first 3-4 times, right, until you have enough tickets to buy a good amount of skills here, and then once you feel confident enough, you can jump in here and actually do elites. Try to get the best build that you can so that you can go and fight endless mode. So Kurtz recommends that we go for the buffs that will give you stats when you're below 50% health, like this one, right? This one gives me increases damage dealt by 90% when HP is below 50%. So that is pretty much the most optimal build that we can come up with, or that he came up with, in order to at least farm the first half of this game mode, right? One thing that I will tell you guys is that there's one buff that basically what it does is it drains your health down to 50%. Basically it drains 5% of your health every 1 second, I think, every 2 seconds, something like that. That skill is essential. You need that skill for this build to work. The reason why is because obviously if all of your buffs are located when you're below 50% health and you can't lower your health, then you're not going to get any buffs. That is bad, obviously, right? Because in endless mode, the first few floors, the enemies won't really hit you that hard to put you below 50% health, right? So you will go into endless mode and you'll be doing base damage, and your time will run out because you're too slow. So you absolutely must find the buff that lowers your health, that drains your health. There are plenty of stages to go through, so you have many opportunities to find it. If you don't find it, don't worry about it. You can just start another run until you find it, right? Or if you just happen to find some very good, very synergistic buffs along the way, and you want to make another build, obviously feel free to, right, and try it out. This game mode is all about trying things out. There is going to be another video coming out after this one, which is going to be basically a buff tier list, where I will basically talk about what are some of the best synergistic builds that you can make in order to move forward in this game. So far, I've tried for Deku that same one that Kurt is saying, right, like lowering your health to get more buffs, and I also tried an ultimate build with Momo, which is very fun because it just spams ultimate like there's no tomorrow, and it's just really funny. But while you're still in normal mode, don't stress if you can't find that buff early on, because one good thing, I don't know why I'm randomly connecting now, but one good thing that this game mode has is that, why am I randomly connecting? Like, I don't know what's up with that. One thing that this mode has, normal mode has, right, is that you have this emergency incidents. Emergency incidents will give you one of three choices, right? You can either get a normal buff, you can pay HP to get a rare buff, or you can just get P bottles, right? So you will want, if you're going to do this under 50% health build, you will want to drain your health with this. The problem is that in endless mode, you don't get this kinds of like emergency incidents and stuff like that, right? So you can't purposely drain your health unless you have that specific buff that I'm talking about. So I got really lucky and I got crit rate increases by 15%, crit damage by 50% for 20 seconds after using R skill. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a buff for when I'm under 50% health, but it wasn't. It's fine. So don't stress too much about it, right? Like you're gonna do many normal runs anyway, because you want to do your quests, this objective thingies. So don't stress too much if you can't find the best buffs for this specific run that I'm talking about. One buff or one thing that I will ask you guys to keep in mind is when you start a new run, you get a random buff. You can reset your progress as many times as you like, and you can just re-roll until you get a buff that you like. So obviously try always to get either movement speed, try to get attack, or try to get damage. I got increased normal attack damage by 125%, which is very good because Deku auto attacks a lot. So that's very nice. So try to do that. Also, look into the shop when you first start the game, the run. Go into the shop and see what are the buffs that you have here. As you can see, I kept this run because I have this buff right here. Crit rate and crit damage increases by 9% and 30% respectively when HP is below 50%, increases another 4% and 12% every 10% HP lost. Those are a lot of percentages. So obviously you want to go into the shop and try to see if you have buffs that will synergize with the build that you're trying to do. If you get useless buffs like the one that I just got, right, you can always just sell them, right, and then you can buy the buff that you actually want. So don't worry too much about that either, right? Just try to reroll and get the most optimal run that you possibly can. If you don't get, again, one more time, if you don't get the buff that drains your health, don't stress about it. You can just do another run, or you can just try your luck with the run that you got. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll get a ton of damage or something like that. There are other buffs that are kind of like alternatives. Obviously they are a lot worse, but you know, they can work if you stack them up, I guess. There are buffs that basically give you a lot of stats, but in exchange you will take more damage from enemies, right? So obviously that's not very good because it makes you even more of a glass cannon, but it's a replacement. So yeah, again, I would say just try to build up a good amount of skills before you start fighting elites, and then you just, when you're confident enough, fight as many elites as you possibly can. As you can see, you can choose which path to follow. So I would go up and then up again so that I can fight 1, 2 elites right there, right? Any other path will just give me 1 elite. So I would go up and try to fight as many elites as I possibly can to try to increase the chances of getting yellow buffs, which are the best ones, right? Even if they don't synergize with my build, these ones are very good. So the reason why we're recommending this build to the build that gives you stats when you're under 50% HP is because that build will basically it's sort of like a glass cannon. It will give you the biggest stats, right, in exchange for your health. So the idea would be in endless mode to kill before you get killed, pretty much. That would be the whole idea, right? Kurtz is saying that he managed to get to floor 14 to 16 while doing endless mode on auto using this build, right? But like I said, there are many other builds that you can do. If you don't like the idea of this one, you can try other ones. Let me show you. Actually, this one with Momo that I have is basically an ultimate run. I'm gonna show you real quick what it does. She basically spams ultimate all the freaking time. Look at the ultimate. Look at how fast it builds up. It's really funny. I don't know. So yeah, you can try many things. Just try whatever works for you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. Like I said, guys, there's another video coming after this one where we will discuss a tier list for all the buffs in this game mode, because there are many buffs in this game mode. So look forward to that. If you have any questions, any doubts, don't you guys hesitate to leave a comment, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability. If not, you can always jump into the Discord, link is in the description, and we'll also try to help you out there. Yeah, as you can see, this is endless mode. You just fight wave after wave. Whenever you defeat one wave, you get 30 extra seconds to survive. But as you can see, this build is very slow, because I still, even though my ultimate is building up very fast, since I'm playing on auto, because I don't actually have Momo in the regular game, so I have no idea how to play her. It's very slow. The AI is very slow, and the AI uses the ultimate in a very suboptimal way, right? Like, it's just very bad. So as you can see, the best, in my opinion, I do agree with Kurtz, the best build would be the under 50% HP build, because you'll hit very hard and you will kill before you get killed. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment. What do you think? Do you have any recommendations? Do you have any suggestions? I'm more than open to listen to them. Join the Discord if you'd like to discuss more, and subscribe if you like more videos like this, and I'll see you guys on the next one.